Everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Tolu Aya Adewusi. It's always an amazing time when I get in the kitchen to share everyday recipe or some of my recipes with you all. And today I'm gonna be sharing something very easy to make. If you don't want to do the hard work and you want something simple, we can always go for this. If you're trying to lose some weight and you're looking for some healthy alternative, this is also gonna be something you want to try out. And if you're just looking for something light, you don't want to eat something heavy in the nighttime, this is also something you can eat. I'm making a pan-seared cod with sauteed vegetables. It's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna look pretty, but your girl is local now, and I have to put a Tolu spin on it and a Tolu taste. So this is one of my local food. It is seafood. I love seafood, and I'm making you the Alaskan cod. So let me introduce you to the ingredients we're gonna be using for this recipe today. For the cod, this is the Alaskan cod. You can see it has been deboned and skinned off. I personally, I do not really like to pan-sear my fish with the skin on. My hubby, on the other hand, likes when the skin is on it. It kind of gives the fish a firmer grip, but I like it this way. So I'm gonna be doing that. And for the seasoning for this fish is gonna be some lemon pepper. You can see in here I have the mix of the lemon pepper with a little bit of some other seasoning. Mixing into there is some parsley and some other seasoning in here. You can always pick up your lemon pepper from the store. I'm gonna also put in some bouillon. I'm gonna put in some salt, and of course, I told you your girl is local. I have to put in some crayfish powder. This is optional. You can decide to use the crayfish powder or not use it at all. I love to put that local taste in it, and for some reason, I love putting crayfish powder just the same way I like to use nutmeg and I like to use green pepper. So I'm gonna be using some crayfish powder. It is optional. If you don't do crayfish, don't put it. But if you want to get that kick of a taste, not the spicy, but that in-depth flavor, add some of that to it. And for the vegetables for this cod with the sauteed veggies, I'm gonna be using some purple cabbage. It's right here. I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna be using some sweet red bell pepper, and this is the green pepper. This is some sweet onions. We have the orange pepper, we have the yellow, and for me to have a kick of some spiciness in it, I'm gonna use some jalapeno peppers for the veggies that I'm using for this meal. And also to go with this meal, I'm gonna be making a creamy corn with cranberries. This is my Oga's recipe. Did I say that? This is his recipe. He's always the chef in the kitchen. When he does this, everybody sits around the kitchen table. If you don't eat anything on your plate, you will surely eat this. And when he makes this, he used the sweet corn. This is actually the frozen corn. I actually tore it out. So this is the sweet corn that we're gonna be using. And for this, we're gonna use some diced onions. We have cranberries, and right here I actually have some sweetened condensed milk. You can also use heavy cream, or you can use your carnation milk, but in that situation you're gonna still have to add some sugar. But because I'm using the condensed milk, we don't have to use any sugar in this because this is already sweet and we do not want to overpower it. And also for this, we're gonna be using butter instead of using olive oil. For the fish we're using olive oil, but for the corn we're using butter. And we're gonna have some milk, and we have some cornstarch. This is the cornstarch and the milk we're gonna use to thicken it up a little bit so that it's not watery. I've been going on and on, guys. This is Tolu Cook, and let the fun begin.
Tell me who plans better, that dream come true. She not there disappointed.
The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and wash our hands. And I am not a believer in really wearing a lot of gloves in the kitchen, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm doing some pepper stuff, definitely yes, why not? But if it's just me cooking, I believe wash your hands clean, and I wash my hand from time to time. So I have my fish already cleaned, ready to go. I just want to make sure that I do not have any water in it, and I'm gonna pat it dry, and we're gonna go over to the stove. just a little bit of olive oil. I'm using extra virgin 100% olive oil. I'm gonna put a little bit in the pan. I'm gonna let that warm up, and I have my fish here. They're ready to go. That's just gonna warm up a little bit. So this is my fish. So before I drop them, I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle just a little bit of the bouillon, a little bit of the salt on both sides, a little bit of the bouillon and a little bit of the salt, and I'm gonna repeat that for every one of them, and I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna go to the next one, and I try to shake it around a little bit, and I drop the cover to avoid some splashes. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it. So I let it stay on that side for 5 minutes, and I'm just gonna let it move around on the oil, and I'm gonna cover it back and let it stay on the side for about 3 minutes, and I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna put the next batch. So that is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and take this batch out. If you look at it from the first time before we turn it, the oil wasn't clear. Now the oil came back clear. It means that is ready. I'm just gonna add just a little bit more oil, and I'm gonna drop the second batch. I have my lemon pepper seasoning, so I'm just gonna sprinkle it over it. I added back the first set of fish that I did. So this is lemon pepper. Remember, do not over season your fish with the salt and the bouillon, because we're using the cod. It doesn't have a lot of meat to hold on to a lot. So, and seasoning to taste. If you see, I'm not measuring my seasoning. I'm just putting according to how the spirit leads. That's my crayfish powder. I'm gonna go ahead and try and move this around in the pan, and I'm just gonna flip. So I'm just gonna let it sit for about 2 minutes. I mix around because I want the seasoning to mix around. It's gonna sit down there for about 2 minutes with the seasoning marrying into it. They're gonna marry each other. So once it takes in all that lemon pepper seasoning and the crayfish powder and the bouillon and the salt and the fish, the cod sucks it out in, I'm gonna take it out of the pan, and I'm gonna start up with the vegetables, and it's gonna come back and marry it again. I'll see you soon. So I'm gonna take my purple cabbage. After moving the fish out, I'm gonna put it in the pan. If you notice, I did not clean out the pan from the fish, because it's still gonna be the same flavor. And I'm just gonna let this cook down a little bit. But remember, with the same seasoning we used for the fish, we're gonna use it in these. This is the lemon pepper, so I'm just gonna sprinkle some, a little bit of the crayfish. You do not want one part of your food tasting good, just a tiny salt, and the bouillon. You do not want one part of your food tasting good and the other part is kind of like bland. The secret to a good meal is you want every component of the dish tasting really, really fabulous. And with this, I'm not putting any more oil. The leftover oil from the fish is what I'm using for this. And I'm gonna put just about 2-3 drops of water. You can hear the sizzling. I'm gonna mix it well. And I'm gonna cover it for about 3 minutes because I want it to build up the steam so it can cook down for me a little bit. And that will be done, and we're gonna go to our veggies. Okay. Now we can go ahead. You see that it has the steam build up in it. It's still crunchy, but not totally crunchy. It is chewable now. So we're gonna go ahead and take this out and go back to the rest of the veggies. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil. I cleaned out the pot already. You can decide to use a separate pot so your meals are cooking hand in hand. I just decided to stick to one pot for this. So now I'm gonna let that oil get back up, and I'm gonna start putting in all my vegetables in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in some onions. This is my jalapeno peppers. Once you start getting the aroma, I go with the orange. It looks like today is the day for a lot of orange. The red. If you know your girl, I like things looking beautiful. And the green pepper. I'm just trying to make sure that every one of them get a little bit of the oil on, because I'm gonna cover it and let it build up that steam. I'm gonna put the same seasoning, the crayfish powder. I'm gonna use a little bit more on this because the fish is gonna get it from it. The lemon pepper, a little bit of bouillon. Remember, these are vegetables. You do not want to over season it. It can hold a lot. And we're gonna mix this well. I'm gonna cover it and let it build up the steam for about a minute. And that's gonna stay there for about 3 minutes, and this dish is ready. Okay, this is ready. There we go. I do not want to mix it too much because I really do not want to break up the fish, but this is ready. I'm gonna plate it, and you can see what it looks like on the plate. I made you pan-seared cod, Alaskan cod with creamy corn with cranberries, and guys, when I say it is the bomb, it is. I would love you to try it, and this is what we actually came up with. Look how beautiful this dish looks. Look at all the colors in this plate. And to be honest with you, the only carb on this dish is your corn. If you do not want to have this with the corn, you can always switch it out for any healthy starch of your choice. You can actually do plantains, you can do maybe some honey beans, you can do some baked beans alongside with it if you don't want to do the creamy corn. And if there's a vegetables you don't do, you can always switch it out. But just remember not to over season your dish with this, because the Alaskan cod is not a meaty it's not a meaty steak, so you cannot put too much seasoning. I will try this out for you and let you know how it tastes. Everything tastes good, from the cabbage to the fish to the corn. Everything tastes delicious. There is no part of this dish that is bland, and that is always key. You want everything to balance itself well. My wonderful family, thank you for hanging out with me today. Have you subscribed to my channel? Have you liked this video or the last one or the one before? Please like my videos. Please help me share them with your contacts, with your family, with your community, and let us grow Tolu Cooks. Guys, it's always a wonderful time when I get in the kitchen to share this amazing recipe with you. This one is a borrowed recipe from my Oga on the top. And remember to hold on to your faith. Remember to keep your family to heart. Never let go. And never let go of your beautiful, wonderful friend. This is the tree of life. It keeps us grounded. It keeps us going. And it actually gives life a meaning. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I will see you in the next episode of Tolu Cooks or Cooking with Tolu. Come cook with me. Mwah.